Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another Spark coaching session. I'm joined, as usual, by my lovely coaches, the enigmatic Bram LeGroux, the muscles from Brussels. Bram, how are you today?
Fantastic.
Looking
Very
good?
much looking forward to this one.
Yeah, this is a cracker. And the lovely Kylie Denton, Kylie, Performance Advisory Group. How are you today?
I am great, thank you.
Fantastic. Great to see you again. Looking forward to having you at our conference, by the way. So happy days. But
Yes.
without further ado, Bram, would you like to introduce us to our special guest today?
Yes. Ashton Bishop, CEO of Step Change, is here with us today. He is, how could I say, he's the guy that started as a lawyer, went to being a circus artist and all that sort of stuff. And now he's inspiring lives by working with brands to use guerrilla techniques to really better eloquate themselves. And look, I can try to do it in my best spin to elevate you here, but suffices to say that as a very highly regarded tech speaker, the executive connection, that Ashton brings a lot of value to the table. And I'm really, really keen to talk about marketing. So welcome, Ash.
Thank you, Brian.
So
Welcome, mate.
Shall we just fire away?
Let's go. Let's fire.
Yeah, good. Well,
I'm comfortable, Brian. I'm sitting here in your old house that I bought when you sold it. Just
that's
kicking
it.
back on the sofa, fully furnished.
I'm glad that you kept the piano there, so to make more better music here. But talking about music, you do a lot in the marketing space, and we got a wide audience here that is tuning in with us. Very many of them in the financial services industry, through the Spark Financial Group and Performance Advisory, which again is also very much immersed in that financial services industry. But talking about marketing, there's a lot of disruption going on. There's a lot of change. What are you navigating through with your clients right now that could be really good for other people that are right now going through this live stream to take note of in the marketing space to better articulate what they can do and obviously help more people?
Yeah. So look, I think the interesting thing about marketing is that there is this underlying tactics, and the tactics are always changing. It was back early in the new year. I spoke to 3 clients, and then like the AI bomb went off, and I sat down with ChatGPT and I went and asked it, from my consulting side, to perform a task that I can do really well, which is how do I bring disparate concepts together and then put it into a summary. So I asked ChatGPT, I went, okay, what are the top 5 evidence-based principles that lead to happiness? And it's gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can generally quote about 70% of the time. Accurate sources, it got 100%. I'd just done an MBA in marketing. So I went, all right, well, show me a go-to-market plan. And it did that. So in the space of about 5 minutes, it had changed what I thought my value delivery was, right? So that's a tactical piece. So what did I do at Step Change? There's about 30 of us. I got everyone to spend a month using 3 different AI platforms. Then in our monthly roundup, I got them to record what they used in house. So across our designers, writers, technical people, we got a sense of what platforms or what tactics would aid us in delivery. So now every Step Change person has 2 to 3 platforms they use. I also hired a marketing cyborg. I had Seek basically contact me and went, "You've used the word cyborg on Seek." So we hired a marketing cyborg, which was a person to stay across the developments of AI, right? So that's in the tactical bucket. And will tactics change? You bet. But great marketing is not a tactical exercise, as you know, Bram. It's a strategic exercise. And the beautiful thing about strategy is that we're working with people. And over 350,000 evolutionary cycles, the principles of how we decide and review value haven't much changed, right? We saw that play out with a nation that bifurcated and tore itself apart over a referendum, which was super interesting. And this is PG rated, so we don't discuss politics today. But my little question there was, I don't know how many debates you all got into over the referendum, but how many people had actually read the actual constitutional wording before they were too busy discussing their opinions. The actual wording, not the we're changing it for this, but the actual referendum. That's pretty interesting, isn't it? Because we get caught as marketers into the detail and we're 7-8 layers deep. Is that where most people operate? No, most people operate right up here.
Interesting. Kylie, Arthur.
So thinking about that, Ash, from a financial planner's perspective or a small business perspective, you know we want them to kind of use that AI, but it's not the whole package, is it? It can't be the whole package. So how can they, one, utilize it, but also understand the limitations? Because people want value, personal value, not computer value. So how do you think small businesses might consider that from a marketing perspective, but also from an AI perspective?
Yeah, so we're talking about financial planning businesses, like marketing and engaging. Okay, so we've done a fair bit around with financial planners over the years, and it's a really interesting question to ask financial planners. Are you in a technical business or are you in a relationship business? And the technical ones want to go, yeah, technical, and then you go, and they go, actually, we're in a relationship business. And then you go, well, what are relationships built on? And they go, trust. And we go, trust is an output. What are the inputs? And there's actually a scientific paper called the partner relationship model that says actually trust is built through 3 elements: understanding, validation, and caring. So you've got to listen first and extract the right information, understanding. Then you've got to go, oh, wow, that sounds awful, or I can relate to that, the validation piece. And then you've got to use that information to deliver something of value. The interesting bit about that is that any AI model or contextual model or large language model is only as good as its context, which is what? Limited by September the 21st or September 21, right? And they're not in this, like, I'm in Bram's house. I know more about Bram than he does, right? I found this drawer. I don't know what you're doing. The whole point is that we've got to be contextually relevant. So understanding is that unique relationship bit. So it's not just information, it's information for me. The validation is the bit that I generally step over. I like to move quickly, and I sometimes forget that human connection bit. Great financial planners validate, and then they use that information in contextually relevant ways. So I think there is a huge opportunity to automate the repetitive financial in terms of financial modeling to get it more accurate. But there is going to be a financial planner supported by AI models, not replaced by, certainly in the short term.
Yeah, I agree. I think to me, the financial planners can use AI in the sense of helping with the framework. So it could be email sequences, or even starting to write copy or newsletters, or even some, I was speaking to a financial planner yesterday who I coach, and she said, I want to be different. Even though I offer the same, I still want to be different. And I think that's where that bit comes into it. We can get something from AI as a base to help us, but really, how are you different? How do you then connect with the client?
Yeah, it's a great point. And certainly the biggest piece, so one of my passions at the moment is marketing effectiveness. So it was, and Bram, you would have heard this quote, it was, I think, Lord Leverhulme from Procter & Gamble said, I know that half of my marketing's wasted, I just don't know which half. But I've got billions of dollars, so it doesn't matter. Right, so you can imagine that sort of classic, snifter of whiskey in a pipe, sort of proclaiming those things. The point is that that's irresponsible marketing. You should know that 100% of your marketing is being effective. But people forget how marketing actually works, which is that wind back, and probably the theme that's emerging from the day is human intelligence and artificial intelligence, and how do we bring that together from the point of a financial planner delivering value, but also marketing. So the concept that great marketers, and how you know you're in the presence of a marketer who is up with what's going on, they'll talk about differentiation and they'll talk about distinctiveness, right? And the two concepts are different, and they work as like the two parts of the whole. So differentiation is that classic marketing Kotler. It's Kotler, it's Reese and Trout. It's within my competitive context, where do I sit? And I'm different. Differentiation. And the desire and the madness to find difference has sometimes been overshadowed by this concept of distinctiveness, is that when you speak, are you unmistakably you? And the job of marketing is to build memory structures, to be thought of in that moment. And there's a lot of financial planners who are trying to find differences with the financial planner next door. What percentage of the population don't have financial advice? Probably about 80%. What percentage of the Australian population should have financial advice? Probably about 99.99%, right? Besides the financial planners, they should do their own. Or maybe they should get good financial advice as well. But the whole point is that we need those two concepts, but out of the two, which one's more important? Distinctiveness. When you speak, when you market, are you unmistakably you? And if they just got that, a lot of it would fall into place.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
If I can just interject there, one of the key things that I really love about your speak, I call it Ash speak, right? is where
TM, thank you, bro.
Where you talk about outsmarting your competitors.
Mm.
There's, let's say, 3 odd things that right away float up, that you say, this is the sort of stuff that will help people to outsmart their competitors right now. What comes to mind?
Yeah, so the first one, and especially around financial planning and financial advice and marketing in that space. Anyone who's interested in marketing effectiveness, not from WAR, what Ash reckons research, which I love, right? I indulge in what Ash reckons research all the time. But if you want to know what the numbers actually say, when it comes to the largest body of empirical evidence ever assembled on marketing effectiveness, the godfathers of marketing effectiveness, yeah, you know these guys. It's called Field and Burnett. So Field and Burnett published a book called The Long and the Short. And in that, they said, where does marketing effectiveness deliver an ROI to the business? And as financial people, every financial planner should be taking an interest in their business's financial well-being. Now, across categories, across sectors, if there's a broad range of people listening, if I had $100 to spend on marketing, I should be spending 60% on brand, emotive, storytelling, distinctive standout. I should be spending about 40% on the detailed package, offer, the stuff that Bram, you are just brilliant at, to say, and you get this, and you get that, and right, and the more stuff, right? Until you just waterproof the offer so it's buy now. So if it's $100, we spend $40 on the buy now packaging, but we spend $60 on the emotive top of funnel piece. Why is it in that ratio? Because in any sector or category, there's only ever 3 to 5% of people buying now, right? So that's across categories and sectors. It's called the larger market theory. And the mistake most people make is they never grow their businesses, because they're just fishing in the pool of my current followers, my current network, my current people that know about me. If you're not known, you can't get bought, right? And I say it in that voice because sometimes you just need to bang people. If you're not known, if you're not considered, you can't get bought, right? So that's the first thing, Bram, of figuring out that we must split between both of those things. And which one's most important? Yes, we must do the emotive, category driving, the value of advice, but then we must do, and why get advice now? But here's the punchline, and here's the kicker, and here's the little secret thing that you might not know. Across categories and businesses, it's 60-40, but financial advice and financial planning is different. Do we think it should be more emotional or more rational, offer driven? What do we reckon?
Emotional.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Assemble some clever people, Bram. It's actually 80-20. If you had $100 to spend, you should be spending $80 on driving the emotional, distinctive, why the value of advice is important. It's a category that's a standout where they get it wrong. But what do most of them do? they unleash their inner accountants and they pull on the numbers side and start going, yes, but we need to have these terms and conditions and do the PDS and they get into little try and boring people into buying their products. And all they're doing is confusing. And as we've seen time and time again, information's a barrier to action. And if people are confused, they'll just put it down. So I know you've asked for 3, Brian, but that's the big one. It's 80-20. And Kantar just released Australia's most valuable brand, valued at $32 billion. So in any company valuation, anywhere up to about a third of it is intangible brand value. This company has a brand worth $32 billion. What's the brand?
I love her saying that generally the older.
What do you reckon? Anyone guess? An Australian brand worth $32 billion, just the brand value. It's CommBank. CommBank is Australia's most valuable brand. Why? Because while everyone else is going short, they're doing for the goals we share. They're doing sponsorships. They're going.
Yeah, right.
Is there a difference between valued and, in terms of the assessment and the criteria, valued and trusted?
Absolutely. Yeah, I didn't say they're Australia's most trusted brand. I said they're Australia's most valuable brand. Why? Because of the sheer value. Yeah, sorry.
Qantas's brand has been an interesting one to track.
Yeah, and Qantas's brand, I mean, Qantas probably held the mantle of Australia's most loved brand for probably a very long time. I still call Australia home. I was at Ogilvy when we were doing the apostles, right, of the choir and the Peter Allen song. I still call Australia home. It was loved then, but there's a blip. There's a blip at the moment. But I was also on Toyota when they had their blip as well. And this, with good brand management, this too shall pass.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless you buy
blip.
Yeah.
Toyota had that blip a long time ago with that unfortunate event where that car went out of control, right? They had to rebound from that.
It was about 2006, and we saw it fall off a cliff and then rise back up. So I was strategist on Toyota in Australia at that time, and they mismanaged the PR dramatically given the Japanese culture, where it's like, protect the leader, protect the leader, protect the leader, where instead of just going, you know what, we made a mistake.
We stuffed up.
Yeah, we stuffed up because it's managed different, but the brand bounced back. Arthur, you were saying?
So Ashton with a passion, that's the marketing curve for the Ashton with a passion. I love what I'm hearing, some amazing frameworks you've shared. Fiddling with AI. God blimey, I tell you what, it's just the hot topic at the moment. I like the way you've applied it in your framework as tactical. I don't think it replaces the journey that financial planners have to create and the vision they need to create for their clients. So a very tactical applied tool. I think a lot of us have experimented to potentially somewhat replace the experience. We've got this fascination with substitution replacement, but where I'm getting with my question eventually is, I mean, I see AI similarly as a tactical tool, not there to replace, because the human element and what you've defined nicely as the definition of trust cannot be facilitated through AI. Guerrilla marketing. I love it. So I first came across the term when I started marketing back in 1999. And my understanding of it back then may be very different to what it is today. But is that still happening at our levels? And when I say our levels, it's kind of infiltrating and latching on someone else's marketing strategy and feeding off that and undermining that to obviously propel yourself. That's my old recollection of what guerrilla marketing is. Does it happen today at local level?
Yeah. Look, guerrilla marketing's an interesting concept, and traditionally guerrilla marketing came to life around the Olympics are on, it costs X millions of dollars to sponsor the Olympics. How can we grab our share of attention there? So that's traditional guerrilla marketing, i.e. it's tactical. Where we specialize is what's called predatory marketing, which is the positioning that a challenger business can take to undermine the position of the market positioning of a dominant leader. Ideally, a leader that is slow, incumbent, sloth-like, and has just forgotten about the customers. And there is classic examples of the world's most loved and powerful brands actually taking strong predatory positions. You look at Virgin. Virgin isn't one brand, it's a group. And their premise is David slaying Goliath wherever they sleep, right? And whether it's an airplane in the sky, whether it's a cola coming in, the positioning's pretty clear as explained by that purpose, right? David slaying Goliath wherever they sleep. Even Apple, like the world's first $1 trillion brand, started in 1984 with the overlord IBM PC and a sledgehammer being thrown into it. It was more famous at the time than the Genius ad that Jobs did. So have a look at the journey of Apple, and they very much started from a predatory positioning. So with our clients, especially if they've got a small budget, especially if they need to take on a large competitor, we start with the premise, we have no money, we shall have to think. And predatory marketing or predatory positioning allows us to angle in and make it very difficult for a large incumbent to squash a smaller competitor. Because the advantages of a large incumbent are so stacked in their favor, you've got to be predatory to stand a chance.
That's thanks for the distinction.
Yeah, no worries.
Carly, any other questions that you have? Because I'm mindful of time and that we're going to have to wrap it up soon.
Yeah, I do. Just that point that you made there then. So how do those small businesses consider that within their strategy? Because marketing is a massive part of organisation strategy. You know, like I'm often saying, I do brand workshops with leaders, and I'm saying, you know, if people aren't talking about you as a leader, then you've got some work to do on your brand.
Yeah,
Okay?
love it.
Well, it's a good point, Carly. It's a really good point because I mean the financial planning practices that we're talking about. I mean they don't have necessarily the same budgets and therefore range or afford the same range, but they still try it anyway and they just burn.
Yeah.
But this whole predatory marketing concept is something that could be a lot more efficient.
Yeah, well, it means your marketing dollars are working as hard as they can, and they're only working for you. And certainly in the context of predatory, Kylie, I love the point you made, is that if you don't get noticed, everything else is academic. But the big driver on predatory, and we can all play together, is if you, and so I'll go 3, 2, 1, and then we'll all say it together. So if you see an ad for a hamburger and you didn't quite catch the ending, who's the ad for in 3, 2, 1?
McDonald's.
Great. If you see an ad for a soft drink, you didn't quite catch the ending. Who's the ad for? 3, 2, 1.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah. If you see an ad for toothpaste, you didn't quite catch the ending. Who's the ad for? 3, 2, 1.
Colgate.
Yeah.
Aim.
Here's the punchline. Five nights, over half the marketing dollars, not in your category, but across categories, is misattributed to the brand leader. Yeah. Over half the dollars that are tipped into the market make the market leader stronger. Yeah, and I shake my head every day. It's how I lost my hair, Kylie, right? When I started 15 years ago, I looked like Brahm, and now look at me. So I'll give you 2 quick examples of how to do predatory.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've spent a lifetime honing and crafting the art. It's just like I don't do my own financial advice. I see a qualified financial planner. I can give you a concept, but see a great marketer. So here's 2 examples. We're doing a job for a nappy bin, and the nappy bin was launching into the market, and there was a market leader who was number 1 in the nappy bin space. The problem was, it didn't work, right? Because it worked when the babies were just doing number 1s, but the moment the baby started cracking off number 2s, it stunk the whole house out. So it actually ruined the category because people went, oh, nappy bins don't work. Does that make sense? The market leader was ruining the category. So we came along with a predatory positioning for the new launch, which is what? number one for number twos. A nappy bin that actually works when you need it to work. Does that make sense? So that was an example of predatory positioning. We weren't number one, but we were number one for number twos. So it strikes at the weakness of your competitor's greatest strength. They were number one by a long way. Yeah, but they didn't work, right? So that's an example. I'll give you one other quick example where we were working with a financial advisory firm, and the guy used to, go, "Oh, I'm your part-time CFO. What it is, what do you need? It's what we do best." All these generic statements, and what we were predatory against. Their big value came from helping people maximize the value in the business, i.e. proper business advisory, and then helping do a sale. So you could go to a business broker who would sell, but they might not help you optimize, or you could go to the big four that might help you optimize, but if you're too small, they couldn't crystallize it. So optimize the value and crystallize the value. That was his value proposition. What was in the way? Business owners thought their businesses were ATMs. Now at 65, I'm going to sell my business and take my money out. Whoop. Right? It's not how businesses work. What is it? It's the earnout they missed. 3 years to work it, 3 years to prepare for it, and 3 years to earn it. So the premise was, the predatory position was business owners who thought, I've got a lot of value in my business. And the question for that was, what's your business worth now? And the answer to that is what? Only what somebody's prepared to pay. So we went bang and smacked them with this question. What's your business worth now? Only what somebody's prepared to pay. So we actually changed the name of that marketing campaign to Start Your Earnout Now. And we went, business owner, it's not an ATM. 3 years to prepare for it, 3 years to work it, that's 6 years. So you better start your earnout when? Now. Call to action, predatory positioning, all wrapped up. I think that's time, bro.
Brilliant.
Love it.
Brilliant.
Kudos. Well done. Home run.
Done.
We're almost there. It's been a cracking session. I'm out of questions, but I'm gonna make sure this gets there.
I think for
this
me,
gets circulated in my group for sure. It's so much value in this one.
I think for me, I still maybe just let's close the loop on it before we cut it off, because I still feel like there's some questions out there. There's certainly, I think, the same. It's starting to percolate in me too. To me, what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's not for when we think about that predatory marketing. I mean, how many advisors do we have in Australia? I think there's 12,000, 11,000.
14,000 now.
14,000. Okay. So it's kind of, and then it might be, let's say if I'm in Sydney, okay, how am I different from the others? Okay. Because we all do the same stuff. We can all develop a strategy. We can all provide them with the insurance. We can do all of that sort of stuff. But what you're really trying to say is, how am I different? How am I unique? How am I going to help you? How am I going to service you? How am I going to add value to you? That's what our clients want to hear. That's why our clients want to do business with us, because they're connected with us, because they want to be with us. They know we can help them. Everyone else can do it too. It's me.
I think
people do business because of me.
Yeah, but that's exactly, it's the question is, where's the frame, Kylie, right? So a lot of financial advisors are focused inwards and scrapping over the same chip and going, yeah, but I'm different and I'm better, and I'm like, they're fighting over the same chip. Where's the big opportunity? Financial advisors should get together and shake the tree around why Australians really need advice and help them get the barriers out of the way so they could do it. But do it then in a distinctive way, i.e. prime the market. You really, really need advice. How much of our time and effort should we spend on that? Probably about 80%. The why you're different, the why you and the why now, that's just the 20%. But where are they spending it? They've tried a little bit, then they've given up, and then they go, oh, well, I'll wait for referrals.
Doesn't work.
Here's the punchline.
Well, look, I think the issue is, so it's such a fragmented audience, the advisors in the country, and look, I relate to what you're saying there, Ash, in regards to, coming together as an industry. And it has been attempted. We had various better advice campaigns back when, I forgot the guy's name, the old barbecue scene, and look, it's a tough one, but what's interesting is what's quite compelling that what you presented is maybe you're not competing against your financial advisor because there's no clear out leader.
That's
There's
right.
no financial planning group.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
there's plenty of other bodies that hold a lot of super, and maybe the predatory strategies could be, thwarted towards them versus each other. And I think if you kind of like shift the dial of your thinking, and what you've done to me, it's like, you're right, everyone's trying to stand out, but really it's actually looking at your strategy and saying, well, a lot of the grunt work's already been done. I'm seeing an ad about super every 5 minutes today.
Yeah.
Why not just leverage their platform and
just
latch on to that?
Yeah.
And so that's how you get to then stand out versus why am I different?
It comes back to the distinctiveness
It's pretty,
again.
it's pretty in your face. Yeah, but there is a leader now, because everyone's kind of think, who the leader is. Well, we now know who it is. I've just told you who they are.
Hey, Arthur, just a quick
Yeah,
one.
maybe anyone.
Obviously, you mentioned Charlie earlier with the shared services at Spark. The marketing piece could be also a shared services piece, right?
Don't know what you're talking about there, Bram. It's all quite quiet, but anyway, yeah, maybe. Not but no. We are live. Moving on.
All right,
Yeah.
guys. Ashton, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah. Thank you, Ash.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Ashton with a passion. I love it, mate. Cracking session.
My
so much value there. I'm going to make sure my group watch this vid.
Yeah.
Probably be handy if you popped your details into the comments within the live stream and how to get a hold of you, yeah?
Sure. How does that work? It's trying to get on to. It's asking me to join the chat via my YouTube.
Once
Ash.
you see it in your feed, just latch onto it. And
Yeah.
pop it in
Okay,
there.
cool. You can share my addresses, Bram. I'm into the LinkedIn as well.
Easy.
I'll just put my Ashton at Hello Step Change.
Anyway, we're going to wrap it up here just for time-seeking purposes. We can always add anything afterwards in the feed and the comment section below. But thanks again.
Great job,
guys.
Bram. Great job, Ash. Colin, good to see you again.
My piano
bye-bye.
tutor's arriving. I got to tinker the eyelids. See you later. Thanks.
See you guys.
See ya.